John Brown committed treason by taking over the armory and taking lives. Did Virginia commit treason?
Did Virginia commit treason? Did Virginia commit treason? Did Virginia, like John Brown, commit treason? Now, the reason you want to take Virginia and John Brown and put them together in that question is there's not a whole lot of time separation between the John Brown attack on Harpers Ferry and Virginia's assault, its attack on Harpers Ferry. In one case, it was an individual, Brown attacking for a cause to end slavery. In the other, it is sanctioned by the state for another cause, to sustain secession, to sustain the deliverance from the Union. In one case, Brown's case, he would be tried for treason against the state of Virginia. So when Virginia advances against the Armory and Arsenal at Harpers Ferry to seize the weapons that are stored there, to seize the machinery that belongs to the United States government, is Virginia, like John Brown, committing treason? Well, Virginians certainly would argue that they weren't. Virginians would argue that they no longer were part of the United States, that they've already cast their vote of secession. Hence, since they are not part of the United States, they are no longer a member of the Union, that this property can now become state property, that the state property is much more valuable and meaningful to them than anything from the United States, because the United States property doesn't exist within the confines of the state, of the geographic boundary of Virginia any longer. If it's U.S. property, it's now Virginia property. Same thing happened at the Naval Yard, the U.S. Navy Yard in Norfolk, Virginia. Virginians attempted to seize the Naval Yard just as they were going to seize the Armory and the Arsenal at Harpers Ferry. So U.S. property within the geographic boundaries of the state of Virginia now, for Virginians, should be possessed by Virginians. And that wasn't treason to them. But the very act of leaving the Union, was that an act of treason? Was the departure from the United States, the severance from the United States, was that an act of treason? Well, again, Virginians would argue that it would not. That Virginians would say that when the original Union was founded, it was a compact, it was an agreement, and that they voluntarily came into this agreement. So if you voluntarily joined the compact, if you voluntarily come together to form and coalesce in this union, you also have the right to voluntarily depart from it. And this was the principal argument of John Calhoun and the secessionists from the Deep South. And so Virginians were able to justify their secession as part of, we came into the compact, the government, voluntarily, we can depart as well. And so for a Virginian, the idea that they committed treason was absolutely foreign to them. But by legal definition, any act against the United States, such as separation, could be considered treason. Did Jefferson Davis commit treason, the President of the Confederacy? Did Robert E. Lee, when he left his career in the United States Army to cast his support and his future with Virginia, did he commit treason? Did Thomas Jonathan Jackson, who soon would become the famous great Stonewall Jackson, did Jackson commit treason? A man who also had worn the uniform of the United States of America. Often, this decision will be made by who wins, who the victor is. Because if the Confederacy becomes the victor, there is no treason, and the separation is dignified, and the separation is acclaimed, and the separation is actually held in honor. But if the Confederacy does not succeed, and this is the big question in 1861, no one can predict the future of the Confederacy. No one knows that we will exist as two separate nations. That's an impossibility to look into the future and determine that. The winner ultimately may determine whether this is a question of treason. I still think it's ironic that when John Brown attacked Harpers Ferry to seize the Armory and the Arsenal, he would be captured and he would be tried by Virginia. And one of the charges was treason, treason against the state. So here we are 18 months later. Virginia troops are advancing against Harpers Ferry, advancing against the Armory and the Arsenal to seize U.S. government property, just like John Brown intended to do. to create their own revolution, just as Brown intended. And you can picture this, you can visualize this. On April the 19th, 1861, the same day in American history as Lexington and Concord, the same day that we launch our revolution in 1775, on April the 19th, 1861, if you were walking into Harpers Ferry as a visitor or a spectator, you would see the United States flag flying over the Armory and the Arsenal being lowered and the flag of Virginia rising.